The silence between Themth's studio lights flickered as the day ended, casting long shadows across the empty soundstage. Everyone had left. The laughter was gone. The busy crew, the echo of clapperboards, the director's sharp instructions all faded into stillness. But Anna stayed. She sat at the edge of the set, her makeup half-worn, hair slightly messy from the emotional scene they had just filmed. Her hands trembled slightly as she stared down at her lap, clutching a necklace that wasn't hers. It belonged to her mother, who had passed just a week earlier. She had worn it today for strength. But now it felt too heavy. The day had been hard. She had to cry in a sin-deep, raw tears. But the hardest part wasn't the acting, it was how real it felt. It reminded her of things she hadn't allowed herself to face. She hadn't told anyone. It's not even Keanu. She wiped her cheek quickly, hoping no one noticed, but someone had. Someone always noticed. Keanu stood quietly behind one of the props, pretending to check his phone, but he wasn't scrolling. He wasn't even reading. He was watching her, gently, patiently, not as a co-star, not even as a friend, but as someone who knew what it meant to carry sorrow quietly. He had seen that look before, on his own face, in the mirror. After he had lost people he loved, he didn't want to intrude. Anna wasn't someone who invited help. She was strong. Everyone said so. But strength sometimes looked like silence. It's like sitting alone in a quiet room and not asking for anything. He took a slow step closer. Not loud, not sudden. It's just enough for her to hear her presence. She didn't lift her head, but she felt it. "You were amazing today," Keanu said softly. Anna didn't answer. She didn't trust her voice. Her throat was tight, and she didn't want to cry in front of him. Not him, not today. He waited, then sat down beside her, not too close. It's just near enough for her to feel safe. He didn't look at her. He looked straight ahead at the empty space in front of them, like he was watching a memory play out on an invisible screen. "This scene? It reminded me of something too," he said after a pause. "My sister. I used to sit with her on hospital nights. She used to pretend to smile so I wouldn't worry. I could tell, though." Anna turned slightly. Her eyes shimmered, not from acting this time. It's from real grief, quiet and deep. "Did you tell anyone back then?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Keanu shook his head slowly. "No, I didn't know how to." Anna nodded, biting her lower lip. "Me neither." There was a long silence again. But this time it wasn't awkward. It was gentle, like a pause between heartbeats. Keanu slowly took off his jacket and placed it beside her. "If you want to talk, I'll listen," he said. "If not, we can just sit here. Either way, you're not alone." It's that simple line, that soft voice. It cracked something inside her, a wall she didn't know she had built. And tears came, not loud, not dramatic, just quiet, steady tears that had waited too long to fall. Keanu didn't move. He didn't speak. He just stepped a little closer. His presence was calm, warm, and respectful, like a silent hug on a wiped. Her face then looked at him. For the first time that day, her lips curved not into a full smile, but something close, something healing. "Thank you," she whispered. He nodded. "I don't have to be strong all the time." And for the first time in days, Anna believed that was okay. The way Chicariet next morning, the studio buzzed again with light, sound, and motion. People moved quickly, carrying equipment, setting props, adjusting lights. But for Anna, the world still felt slow. She walked in with her usual calm, posture, but something about her eyes looked tired. Not the kind of tired sleep could fix, but the kind that came from carrying something too long. Too quietly, Keanu saw her from across the lot. He gave her a small nod. Not loud, not obvious. It's just enough to say, "I'm here." She gave the faintest nod back. They didn't speak all day, not because they didn't want to, but because they didn't have to. Sometimes respect meant giving. Space. During a short break, Anna sat in the corner, sipping her water, staring at the same necklace she had clutched the night before. She rubbed the pendant with her thumb, slowly, as if trying to hold on to something invisible. Keanu approached with 2 paper cups. One was coffee. The other was tea. He held them out. "I didn't know which one you liked," he said gently. Anna looked at him, surprised. "Tea," she said quietly. He handed it to her and sat down beside her. Keeping a polite distance, just like before, she took a slow sip. The warmth helped. Not just the tea, but the gesture. It told her she wasn't invisible. "You didn't have to," she said. "Double quotes, I know," he replied, "but I wanted to." They sat in silence again. This time she didn't mind it. Her shoulders dropped just a little. Her breathing softened. Keanu glanced at the necklace in her hand.
Was it?
"Hers?" Anna nodded. "My mom. She passed last week." "I didn't tell anyone. Not even my agent." He didn't react with shock. No wide eyes. No dramatic gasp. It's a simple, kind stillness. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. Anna blinked fast. "I thought I could work through it, distract myself. But yesterday's scene..." Her voice trailed off. "It hit you," Keanu finished for her. She nodded. "Grief doesn't wait for permission," he said. "It just comes." Anna looked at him. His words weren't grand or poetic, but they were true, and that made them powerful. "How did you survive it?" she asked. Keanu took a moment. "I didn't. Not at first. I pretended." Cameras showed up 2 sets, answered interviews, but inside, I was frozen. He paused and looked at her. "Eventually I stopped pretending. I let myself feel it. And that's when healing started. Not all at once, but little by little." Stared at her cup. "I don't know how to start." "You already did," Keanu said last night. "You didn't walk away, you stayed. That was brave." Anna's lips trembled, not from sadness, but from the fragile hope starting to wake up inside her. Just then, the assistant director called out, "Back to set in 5. Anna stood up slowly, putting the necklace around her neck. "Thank you," she said again, her voice steadier than before. Keanu stood beside her, one day at a time. As they walked back side by side, the lights didn't feel so harsh. Sounds didn't feel so loud. And the air didn't feel so heavy. Anna didn't realize it, but she had already taken her first step toward healing. Not alone, but with someone who understood pain without needing to speak it. The moment she nearly Brakeith's 3rd day on set began with gray skies and a quiet drizzle outside the studio. Inside, everything ran like a machine. Cameras clicked into place, scripts shuffled in hands, makeup artists dabbed gently at actors' faces. But for Anna, today felt different. The script for today's shoot included a powerful monologue, one where her character breaks down after the loss of a parent. When she first read it, it felt like fiction. Now it felt like a mirror. She stood in front of the mirror in her trailer, rehearsing the lines softly, lips barely moving. Each word felt like a thread being pulled loose from something tightly woven inside her. The moment was close, too close. A gentle knock on her door broke the silence. "It's open," she said quietly. Keanu stepped in, holding a folded piece of paper. He looked calm, but there was something in his eyes, like he knew what kind of day this would be. "Hey," he said. "I know today's scene is heavy." Anna didn't answer right away. She looked at the paper in his hand. "What's that?" she asked. He held it out. "A poem. It helped me once. Maybe it'll help you too." Anna unfolded it. It wasn't long, just a few lines. "Grief is a shadow that walks beside us, not to frighten, not to hurt, but to remind us that we once loved something deeply." She read it twice. Then again, slowly, her eyes filled. Not from the words, but from what they gave her. Permission. Permission to feel. "Thank you." He whispered. Keanu gave her a soft smile. "Whatever happens out there, just breathe. Don't act it, feel it. The camera will see your truth." Anna nodded, gripping the poem in her hand like a lifeline. On set, the crew prepared for the emotional scene. The camera operator signaled ready. The director gave a soft nod. Silence fell. Anna stepped into the scene, standing in front of a hospital bed prop. She took a breath. The first line left her lips. Then the second. "Out!" But by the third, something inside her cracked. Her hand started to shake. Her lips trembled. "Ah!" The words stopped. The set froze. Everyone waited, unsure what to do. Anna turned slightly away, hiding her face. Her throat tightened. She couldn't speak. Keanu was nearby, waiting for his cue. But he didn't wait for the script. He walked onto the set quietly. No one stopped him. He stood beside her, not as his character, but as himself. He didn't say anything. He didn't touch her. He just stood, close enough for her to feel safe, and then he whispered, "You're okay. Just breathe." She turned toward him, and for a moment, she wasn't an actress. She was just a daughter, grieving, healing. The tears came, real tears. But this time they weren't from pain alone. They were from release, and somehow she continued. Word by word, line by line, through the tears, through the tremble. When the scene ended, the room was silent. Not from discomfort, but from respect. The director finally spoke. "Cut perfect. We're keeping that." Anna lowered her head, breathing hard, heart pounding. But there was no shame, no fear. She had done it. As she stepped off set, Keanu walked with her. Not saying much, just being there. Back in her trailer, Anna looked at him and said, "I don't know what would have happened if you weren't there." Keanu replied simply, "You would have still made it. You're stronger than you think." She smiled this time, not a fragile one, but a full one maybe, she said. "But it helped that you stepped closer." Behind the curtain, next few days on set felt different, not because the schedule changed, or because the scenes were lighter, but because something inside Anna had shifted. She was still grieving. She still felt the loss. But the fear of showing, it had less power over her now. Every time she stepped in front of the camera, she didn't act her emotions, she lived them. And the audience, the director, the crew, they all noticed. Her performance wasn't just good, it was honest. And that honesty had weight. People whispered behind the scenes. "Anna's in another zone lately. Her eyes say everything, even without words." Did something happen? She didn't explain. Not to anyone. Only Keanu knew. He never told. During lunch one afternoon, she found a quiet bench near the back of the lot, away from trailers, away from chatter. She needed air. She sat, closed her eyes, and listened to the wind moving through the trees nearby. Soft, rhythmic, almost like a lullaby. Then came the sound of footsteps, slow, familiar. "I figured you'd be here," Keanu said, carrying 2 sandwiches and a bottle of water. She smiled faintly. "How you like quiet corners," he said, sitting beside her. They ate without rush. Anna stared at the clouds. For a while, they said nothing, but it wasn't empty. It was peaceful. Then she asked something unexpected. "How do you live?" "With it?" Keanu looked over. "With what?" "The missing. The what could have been. The empty spaces that never get filled." He didn't answer right away. He took a sip of water, then set the bottle down. "I don't try to fill them anymore," he said. "I just leave room for them. It's like a seat at the table." And I looked at him surprised. "I used to try and replace it with work, with people. With distractions," he continued, "but nothing fits. Eventually I realized that those empty spaces, those are where the memories live. Not the pain, the memories." Anna nodded slowly, eyes wet again, but not from breakdown. This was something gentler. A soft ache. "Do you ever talk to her?" she asked. Keanu smiled slightly. "Sometimes when no one's around." Voice trembled. "I talk to my mom too, when I'm scared, when I don't know what to do." "What does she say back?" he asked gently. Anna looked away, blinking. "Nothing, but it still helps." Sometimes silence is her way of saying, "I'm here." They sat for a moment more, letting that settle. Then Anna took something from her pocket, a folded poem Keanu had given her. "Can I keep this?" she asked. "Of course," he said. "It's yours now." She carefully slid it into her wallet. "Like something sacred, you know," she said softly. "Everyone sees you as this legend, this quiet, untouchable man. But I see something else now." "What's that?" "Someone who listens." Keanu smiled. "That's the nicest thing anyone said to me in a long time." Anna looked at him, her eyes full but calm. "You've helped me more in the last few days than anyone else has in years." He didn't brush it off, didn't make a joke. He just looked at her with quiet gratitude. Sometimes, he said, the people who say the least leave the deepest echo. She rested her head lightly on his shoulder, not heavy, just enough to say thank you without words. Keanu didn't move. He just let her rest. The wind moved again, the trees whispered, and the silence between them said everything. A light in the hallway, evening air outside the studio had a strange calm. The sun was low, painting the sky in soft orange and dusty pink. Inside, the day's filming had wrapped. Most of the crew had gone, only a few lights remained on. Footsteps echoed down the hallways, sharp and fading. Anna stood in front of the wardrobe mirror, her costume half off, makeup smudged. She stared at herself, not at the image the world saw, but at the tired eyes behind it. She had carried herself through every scene this week. But today, something inside her had wavered again. There was a letter waiting for her in her trailer that afternoon. Handwritten, old paper, familiar writing. Her mother's. It had been in her mother's apartment. The landlord had found it and mailed it. Just a small folded note in a red envelope. Anna hadn't read it yet. She had held it all day, tucked into her coat pocket like a secret too delicate to open. And now, the silence in the room wrapped around her as she stood, alone with it. She didn't notice the soft knock, or the door open, not until she heard his voice. "You okay?" Keanu asked. She didn't turn. "I don't know." He stepped closer, but gently. "You don't have to be." Anna pulled out the envelope, her hand trembling. "It's from her." Keanu nodded slowly. "Have you read it?" "No, I'm scared." "Why?" She turned to him, eyes glassy. "What if it says goodbye?" Keanu didn't answer with words right away. He sat down on the couch and waited. Anna finally joined him, envelope still in hand. She stared at it, then at him. "Will you stay?" she asked, of course. He replied without hesitation. She opened it slowly. Each fold felt like unlocking something buried. The note was short. "My sweet Anna, if you're reading this, it means I'm already gone. But don't be sad, my love. You are stronger than you know. Life is not about escaping pain. It's about finding beauty in the middle of it. And you, my darling girl, are that beauty. Never forget who you are, and never hide your tears. They are the proof that you love deeply. And that is your greatest gift. Always, Mama." Anna couldn't hold it in. The tears came again, hard and fast. But she didn't hide. Not this time. Keanu moved gently, placing his hand over hers. Just enough to ground her. "She knew," he said softly. "She saw your strength before you did." Anna nodded, pressing the letter to her chest. "You know," she whispered, "I thought I had to be perfect all the time. Strong, silent, untouchable. But maybe being soft is strong too." Keanu looked at her, eyes kind. "It is." They sat there, the hallway light glowing faintly behind them, casting long, quiet shadows. Anna wiped her tears, not to hide them, but to breathe. "I'm glad you're here," she said. "Me too," Keanu replied. She looked at him for a long moment, then said something that surprised them both. "You've been my light this week." Keanu smiled, a real warm smile. "You've been finding your own. I just walked beside you." Anna leaned back, letter still held close. The room felt lighter now. Empty, but full of something quiet and good. Outside, the wind moved through the trees again. Familiar, healing, and inside, Anna finally let herself rest, not from pain, but from the fear of it. The final to Keith last day of filming arrived quietly. It's no grand announcement, no loud celebration. It's just the quiet buzz of crew members packing gear, checking final shots, and walking a little slower than usual, as if not wanting to say goodbye. Anna stood near the soundstage door, sipping her tea, watching the sunlight stream in through the side windows. She was wearing her character's final costumes. Soft colors, eyes bare of makeup, but the change wasn't just in clothes. It was in her heart. Today's scene wasn't dramatic. No tears. No collapse. Just a quiet walk, a goodbye, and a lingering smile. But for Anna, it was more than just a scene. It was her real farewell, not to the film, but to the part of her that had been holding on to grief with clenched fists. Keanu walked in, dressed in his own final scene outfit. He spotted her instantly, nodding with a gentle look in his eyes. "You ready?" he asked. She nodded. "More than I thought I'd be. You've come far," he said. "So have you." They smiled at each other, a language now familiar spoken. Through pauses, glances, and the kind of trust that can only be built through silence, the director called out, "Last shot, everyone." Anna took a breath and stepped onto the set. The lights felt warmer now, not harsh, not cold. It's just enough to see. As the scene began, Anna walked across the quiet street of the set toward Keanu's character. They were supposed to part ways, exchange a look, and move on. But something unexpected happened. As she reached him, Anna didn't just act. She paused. For a breath longer than the script demanded. She looked at him not as her character, but as herself. And Keanu, sensing the moment, stepped closer, just slightly. It's just enough for her to feel it. Her lips trembled, but not from sadness, from something gentle, something healing. A small tear rolled down her cheek, but this time it wasn't from pain. It was from release. She smiled, full open. And honest? The director didn't call cut. He let it play out. The cameras kept rolling, and in that unscripted moment, something real was captured. When the scene finally ended, the crew clapped softly, moved by something deeper than dialogue. Anna turned to Keanu as they stepped off the set. "Thank you," she said, voice steady. "For what?" he asked, humble as ever. "For seeing me," she said. "Not the actress, not the role, just ... me." Keanu nodded. "That's who you've been all along." They stood outside together after wrap, watching the sun fall lower in the sky. Neither wanted to say goodbye. But they knew this wasn't the end. "What will you do next?" Anna asked. "I don't know," Keanu said. "Maybe disappear for a while, take a motorcycle road trip, find the next quiet town." Anna smiled. "That sounds like you. And you." "I'm going to visit my mom's old garden. Water the plants. Maybe start writing something that sounds like you." Hugged, not for the camera, not for goodbye, but for everything unspoken between them. And when they pulled apart, Keanu looked at her one last time. "Take care of your light," he said. "I will," she promised, as he walked away. Anna stood still, holding her bag, the red envelope tucked safely inside, and for the first time in weeks, she didn't feel like something was missing. She felt full, because the pain was still there, but so was peace, because she had cried, because someone had listened, because someone had stepped closer, and because she had finally smiled, not to hide her sadness, but to honor it.